49ers Ultimate Report. This is John J., your 49ers reporter, opinionist, analyst, and die-hard fan. Welcome to Saturday's show. It is called the collaboration 49ers versus Opponents, our debate series and preview series. Last week and a few weeks ago, I was unable to get a show going on, but I want to give a shout out to a few weeks ago to my boy Blake. He's the future of Atlanta sports podcast. My boy Blake, he supports the Atlanta Falcons. So I was so grateful to have him on. So shout out to my boy Blake if he's watching Atlanta Falcons podcaster. But this guy needs no introduction. He's been here. He's basically on the top of the mantle with the most appearances. You don't know. You don't need an introduction. It's Payo time. What's up, man?
Hello, John Jay and the 49er faithful. Welcome in, everyone watching. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for having me on the channel, John Jay.
Yeah. And everyone tells me, hey, yo, John Jay, where is Payo time? Why did you have Rudy on last time? Well, my boy Payo Time has his own YouTube channel, so he's busy doing his great content over there. So Payo, remind the fans, talk about who you are, your YouTube channel, just talk about who is Payo Time, and talk about your LA Rams.
Yeah, thank you. I am a Canadian Rams fan. I've been loving the Rams since 1999, diehard Rams fan. And on my channel, we talk everything going on with the Rams. I host a watch party for every Rams game, which is a lot of fun. And we act live to what's going on with the Rams. So I'll be hosting one for this game. And then I appear on the NFC West Network Roundtable. And then I also have a show called Rams Wednesdays, which is a show on Wednesday where we talk about the Rams.
Mm-hmm. And that is Payo Time. Check out his content. And of course, even though you support the red and gold, the 49er faithful, check out Payo Time. Every time there's Rams news, or if you want to go check out those great shows and those great contents, that network he talked about, watch them. This guy, he knows his stuff. So we always say what's up in the chat because there's so many people in the chat.
You gotta love the chat.
And of course, you know who this guy is.
CG.
CG is in the building. What's up, man? We got a New York Giants fan in the building. What is up, YTC? Yo. And before we move on, Rams, Payo Time, I want to ask you a quick thought about the New York Giants. What are your thoughts about their season so far?
I think it's something I feel like we say it once a year for almost, there's always that one team. And this year, I think it's definitely the Giants and also the Jags we're saying this for. Coaching matters. Coaching so matters. And the Giants have definitely been a surprise this year. And, I'm happy for Daniel Jones. I'm happy for Barkley. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Giants Seahawks game. I won't watch the game, but I'll see the highlights for it because I'll be watching the Rams Niners. But hopefully the Giants can beat the Seahawks.
Yeah. My boy Crazy Juice is in the building, and also Fialua out in the great state of Hawaii. Aloha to my good friend Fialua 60. I want to give a quick moment to my boy Corey Davis. What's up, Corey Davis? He said, I lost some weight. I used to be 289. Now I'm down to 275. I turned 53 today. And shout out to my boy Corey Davis.
Corey.
And for those who don't know Corey Davis, he's been talking to me, going through a lot of some health issues. Hopefully you are okay, Corey Davis, because I worry about my boy Corey Davis, the GOAT. I never want to hear any bad news about my great faithful. So hopefully Corey Davis, this hour show will, take your mind off of all that negative stuff. So support my boy Corey Davis, everyone in the chat. All right. We got Grandizer says, oh no, not Payo Time. Anyone but him. Wow. Really? Anyone from him? Wow. You know what? I'm not going to read his comment.
No, Grandizer, he's just joking. He's a great guy. Yeah.
Brian's in the building. What's up, my boy Brian? And Brian says, John Jay's the GOAT. I wish I was the GOAT. I'm not the GOAT. That's Corey Davis. Corey Davis is the GOAT. All right. Everyone's saying what's up to everyone in the chat. Grandizer's Payo's beard is on point. Nice. All right. CG, what's up? All right. Everyone's saying what's up in the chat. All right. Let's get all the comments out the way. All right. Here we go. Grandizer said, You get Ramelia and he trolls the 49ers. He's upset. A lot of people, I said to him, it's how he says this. He's going to go too far. I don't know what that means. All right. Hopefully the Giants beat the Seahawks. All right. Hopefully the Vikings beat the Cardinals. Grand Dice said they won't CG. It's Seattle. It's supposed to be rain. All right. Everyone's all having some fun in the comments.
That's great.
All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Shout out to my 49ers winning at Levi Stadium some weeks back, 24-9. That was a fun game. But I want to get a Rams fan perspective of that game. Your thoughts on your team not winning?
Yeah, I'd love to forget about that game, but no, I truly do believe that if you go back to that game, the story of the game is the Rams offense making some just mental mistakes, not showing up that game. Scoring 9 points is just you're not going to get many wins scoring 9 points in a game. Stafford, got to fix those turnovers from that game for sure. And then I even remember there was I posted my live reaction of it. There was a third and I think 13, and it was just like we needed to stop it for the Rams to get back in that game. And the Niners threw a screen pass to Deebo Samuel, and I'm just like, you cannot do that. And it was very frustrating. And yeah, it's one of 7 regular season losses that the Rams have had in a row now with the Niners, and it's frustrating as a Rams fan. And I have to watch the highlights of the NFC Championship game for therapy because you're happy about that. But yeah, I'm hoping the Rams can come into this game and have a different outcome than our first meeting for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really true. Of course, all 49er fans were really excited. The thing about this 49ers game, the game that happened was Deebo Samuel basically did the majority of the offense. One thing about most fans who know about Jimmy Garoppolo, he's very limited. But when Jimmy Garoppolo allows himself to let his playmakers do the work, they will really perform very well. And Deebo, I don't know what Jalen Ramsey, I don't know if you can explain that to me. What was Jalen Ramsey trying to do? Was he just trying to put his hand up there? Because when Debo caught that ball, Ramsey, I don't know if he gave up on the play, but then he took it all the way. I think it was like a 57-yard catch and run. But I was like, man, this guy's supposed to be considered the best cornerback in the NFL. And I don't know what he was doing. So do you remember that play? And what do you think Jalen Ramsey was trying to do?
Yeah, I do remember that play, and actually, I give Jalen Ramsey a lot of props. He has a YouTube channel and podcast of his own, and the next day, so he pretty much posts either 1 or 2 days after each and every game, and he posted and he talked about that play, and it's just kind of in his mind, it was just a play that got away from him, and it's frustrating. But I still love Jalen Ramsey. I'm so glad he's on my team, and unfortunately, corner is one of those positions that when you make a big mistake, especially when you're a big name corner, it gets a couple more highlight reels.
Yeah. 100% true. And again, one thing I talk about, and again, as a coach, as a former coach, former athlete, former player, one thing about me, I've been fortunate to be in the business of sports my entire life. So I look at it as, a coaching situation. That ball was not going to be intercepted. That ball was not going to be batted down. And what I would have done, and again, I'm just giving a little bit of some advice for your coaches, because, come on, Ramsey should have tackled Debo instead of trying to get the ball, because Debo had to jump up, grab the ball from the air, plant himself before he started to run. And instead of he just put his hand up in the air, try to bat it or whatever. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, like corners, there are 3 things people tell you when you play corner. You never ever give a wide receiver a 5-yard window of open space. You never do that. You never ever let a receiver blow by you. That's a big, big mistake. And another thing that they tell you for every corner, the most important thing when you're on the corner, you stay on your corner. You follow them everywhere at any part of the field. You follow that receiver. Let your safety, your linebackers on your side go after any short stuff. You don't want to give any type of space to a receiver. And that's what happened to Jalen Ramsey. This guy's supposed to be considered the best, corner. In my opinion, again, I don't know if you agree with me, but he's starting to decline. He's not that guy he once was when you guys traded him when he was in the Jaguars. He's declined. So I don't know how you feel about, my opinion about Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I would politely disagree with it. I think, I guess there's the natural decline of that comes with age, but honestly, I'm of the mindset is I do believe that one day Jalen Ramsey will transition to playing safety. That's my own opinion that I've heard other Ram fans also kind of share that opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I'm so happy he's playing corner. To me, he's still, the best corner of the game, and I know I'm biased, but I'm okay with that.
All right, so CG Ruthless says Rams have no excuse. No Debo, no Greenlaw, Aziz, Armstead, and Mosley. And this is a really good comment because now it moves on to our next topic. And I don't know if you've heard yet, but 49ers injury report, talk about your injury report as well. But the biggest news from this game is that Debo Samuel is out for the game. I know all Rams fans must be so excited to not have to deal with the great Debo because, Aaron Donald, he has a secret crush on Debo Samuel. That's why he pretends, I don't know who this Debo is. I don't know who this is. Yeah, you know who he is. He owns you. He owns you. So I wanted to say that to Mr. Aaron Donald. But your thoughts of Debo not playing, do you think you guys have a better chance of now beating us without, I'm very sorry to say this, but your daddies – from your daddy. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
No, your words, not mine. Yeah, when I saw this yesterday, I definitely was like, okay, this is a big, that's a big announcement. Like that's a big loss for the Niners. Your team doesn't get better with Debo Samuel not on the field, and so as a football fan, I always want the best versus the best. So like as a football fan and the human aspect, I'm annoyed that Debo Samuel is not going to be there. Because if the Rams do win this game, I know I'm going to have Niners fans trolling my channel, being like, "Oh, only because Debo wasn't there," and like that is just such a soft take in my opinion, just because you can always say what if. Hey, silly fun guy, how's it going? But I do believe that this Niners team is banged up, and one of the advantages for the Rams in this particular game is that we're coming off our bye week and we're getting a lot of players back from injury. Mainly our starting center, Brian Allen, is going to be back for the first time since week 1. And also we're getting Van Jefferson back, who was a big part of our offense last season. And we're getting him back for the first time this year in this game. And it looks like he's going to be playing with no limitations. So we're thankful that the Rams are getting some reinforcements at this point in the season.
Yeah. And yeah, like when I look at Debo Samuel, like one thing about Debo is that he is really important, not just for the run game, but for the pass game. And a lot of people forget sometimes he's a wide receiver. We're going to talk about Christian McCaffrey in a moment, but just imagine if Debo was on the field with Christian McCaffrey. But that's a different story, probably for another time, and we'll see maybe next season. Because after this season, we do not play. After this game, we don't play you anymore, which is kind of where with the games were more spaced out. But
yeah,
but when I look at Debo Samuel not being on, I'm not surprised. I'm not really surprised. The way Kyle, for whatever the reason, like Debo, was good during the practices. He was practicing and somehow he got hurt. Oh, he's not playing. So I will always get mad at Kyle. Why are you always injuring your players during practices, not during the game? But I digress because, again, Kyle does not care what I think. John Lynch does not care what I think. And the players in the Niners don't care what I think about if they're healthy or not healthy. But I'm just sick and tired of this to happen. But what we're going to see is that another player, Jawan Jennings, is questionable. he's a 50-50. But if he is not going to be on the field, we're going to see a very weird wide receiver group. Brandon Ayuk, number one, Danny Gray, who has not played a lot, and Ray McLeod. We're gonna have a very, very unskilled, unexperienced wide receiver core because we don't use Ray McLeod all the time. He's new to the team. Danny Gray has not been used this season, so I don't know why. But if Jawan Jennings is not out there, because having Jawan Jennings 6'4", when he has open space, he has good speed for a 6'4" receiver. Because most receivers who are very tall do not have the that impact speed like the shorter, smaller receivers. But when Jawan Jennings, if he's there, that should help the 49ers. But when Debo not being out does really change the way how the 49ers play the game. I wanted to bring up this comment. You said you've seen him before.
Silly fun guy. Yeah, he's one of my loyal subscribers. He's a great guy. Great guy.
All right. Nice to meet you, one of Payo's subscribers. Ramsey has been pushed out of the star position a lot due to injury. He should ball out this game with Troy Hill coming back. Thank you. Jacoby coming back. Yeah, your thoughts on this comment?
Yeah, great point, silly fun guy. We've had a banged up secondary, but we're getting both Troy Hill and Jacoby Durant back this game, which that should help. Like I'm really curious what they're gonna do with Ramsey in this game now that we do have more of our starting secondary available. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be something to look out for sure. That's a great point by silly fun guy.
CG, I think, has a funny joke. Says Rams' disadvantage is SoFi will become Levi South. Levi South. I don't know why they call him that. It's not even a great name. Crowd noise is in our favor. Matthew pick 6. What do you think about CG's comment?
No, I know CG and Niners fans love to say that on my videos and to all of the Rams fans. But I'll say this. So I actually got to go to SoFi Stadium for the first time in my life this past September, and it actually provided a lot of context for me. It was the week that the Rams played the Falcons, and at the hotel I was staying at, there was a lot of Falcons fans there, and I started talking to some of them, and they said they're like, oh, as soon as we saw the schedule, we planned our vacation to come to LA for a week, and we made part of the vacation going to SoFi. And so I think Los Angeles as a tourist destination, that does kind of contribute to what the Rams have experienced there. Plus, on top of when the Rams were just not in the LA market for 20 years. A lot of teams like the Niners grabbed a foothold of the fan base in LA. A lot of Ram fans were really ticked off when they moved them to St. Louis, and there's still this, trust and growing, fan base that needs to happen with moving them back. Now, winning the Super Bowl last year definitely helped, but we still got a couple more years of the Rams being a consistently good team to continue to build this fan base in LA. We know that Sean McVay and the Rams are aware of it. He did say they're prepared to be on a silent count if need be. So it's just sort of the reality of the situation is, but I'm optimistic that in a couple of years' time, the Ram fans will be dominating SoFi Stadium each and every game.
I want to shout out my boy Crazy Juice, who actually lives in the LA area, so he understands that area very well. Crazy Juice says, "I hope Danny Gray shows Kyle why you shouldn't keep him in the doghouse." Yeah, Kyle never wants to play his players for whatever the reason, and I'm not going to even talk about that. That's very infurious. All right, CG says, I don't know what this means. Come on, Sunday Payo time will become pie time.
We'll see, CG. We'll see.
Yeah. One thing I do not like about LA is that the worst California basketball team, the Lakers, play there. It's all about Warriors. It's Warriors State. I'm sorry for all you Laker fans, but you guys are not doing nothing this year. I've been a diehard Warrior fan. And me and CG will probably always argue this until the end of time because he does not like the Warriors. So, yeah. Brian says, Payo time, do you know why the Rams wear Wow. Why does everyone keep talking about these watermelons?
No, it's a great question. It's a great Brian, thank you so much for the question. And I just want to say, Brian, your profile pic with the Batman, that's really cool. I've never seen that with the San Francisco lot. That's really cool, Brian.
Mhm.
So I don't know the full story. Rudy definitely knows it better than me because it goes back a long way. And there were like it's sort of like, you know how there's the cheese heads for the Packers? There were like the melon heads way back in the day. And so you can buy fake watermelons to put on your head like at SoFi. And there's like a group of particular Ram fans that have that. But yeah, it's a kind of a California tradition thing that dates back to when the Rams were in LA like originally. And yeah, it's fun. It's cool. I've never personally done it. But yeah, it used to be a group of people. They would carve out watermelons pregame and then put it on their head and wear it to the game.
Yeah. So anyway, but with that said, all the great stuff. Yeah. So I actually have a question of because I saw you posting some of the some pictures. You were in L.A. How did you like the city of L.A.?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, I had never been before, and I was very blessed to go and do a lot of touristy LA things. It's a lot bigger than I live about oh thanks great eyes there. Yeah, I live about an hour south of Toronto, which is the biggest city in Canada, but LA is definitely even bigger than that. And yeah, LA was a unique, a unique experience, and I can't wait to go back for sure.
Mhm. All right. Brian says, "Thank you, Payo time. LOL. I asked Rams fans."
Oh,
All right.
my pleasure, Brian. Thanks for the question.
Payo should have
I,
bought a.
to be honest, I wanted to, but I didn't have room in my airplane luggage. But definitely next time, I'm planning on it. No, that's I want a melon head that I put somewhere on this wall someday.
CG says, "How was In-N-Out Burger?"
Yeah. Okay. So here's my take on In-N-Out Burger because everyone told me to try it when I was there. I never had it before, and I got there and there was like 40 people in front of me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Am I really gonna wait this long? I don't know. In-N-Out Burger, is it worth it? And I'm like, you know what? It's my only time in LA. I gotta do it. And no joke, in 10 minutes, even though there was like at least 40 people in front of me, I had my food. And it wasn't, I don't want to say it's like the best food ever, but like it's cheap food that's decent quality. And what impressed me the most, honestly, was the efficiency of how the In-N-Out burger was ran. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd go back. And it was a decent burger.
Yeah, like I live, like a lot of people don't know this. So you visit LA. LA is a very large, huge area. It's like it's way big. It has like a bunch of cities. LA is the hub. In the Bay Area, people ask me, why do they call it the Bay Area? Well, you look at the map of San Francisco, it's right next to a giant bay that is a ocean basin known as the Bay. And there's a lot of cities around it. I grew up half my life in the city of San Francisco. I currently live in a place called Daly City. Most people don't know what Daly City is, but for those who have been to San Francisco, they know what Daly City is. We have In-N-Out burgers. And one thing about In-N-Out burgers, it's not a fast food place. It may have that, but the food is cooked. Everything is 100% natural. They even have other types of stuff that most people don't know about. Now, one thing I will say, if you're ever in Daly City, Payo, in the future, the best burger place is Nations. Nations is the best burgers. When I got introduced to it 5 years ago, I stopped going to McDonald's, Burger King, Nations. They make good stuff. They make breakfast. They make lunch, they make dinner. They're open 24 hours, and that's why it's the best burger place to go. But when it comes to like my second best burger place is In-N-Out. In-N-Out again is basically known for that. So one thing about LA, which is big, San Francisco, the Bay Area, there's so many places but the places in the Bay Area that you should visit, besides the city, is the different cities around what people don't know. That's the hidden places. So when it comes to LA, that's why it's called Southern California. Then you have Central California, and you have the Bay Area, and up north in California. California is huge.
Yeah.
California is huge. So no disrespect, I've never been in LA. I've drove through at LA
Yeah.
when I was going to San Diego. I've never like got out of the car and walked around the city. I drove through the city, so I didn't really see a lot of the city. But one day I'm gonna travel and I'm gonna go to LA and I'm gonna wear all my Bay Area stuff, and they'll hate me out there because they do not like Giants fans and Warrior fans. They do not, for whatever the reason. They're very rude to us. Anyway, let's go back to the comments. All right. CG said should come to Levi Stadium one day. Payo.
Yeah, I'd love to. I love to go to any NFL stadium.
All right. All right. Crazy Juice says I've been to San Francisco once. Let me know your experience, Crazy Juice. And also what area were you in the city? Because a lot of people forget San Francisco is divided in 12 districts. So a lot of people say, up in the water, front, they don't even go into the city. CG says was reference it in and out. Best pizza place, round table should try it. This has become a food show. Let's get the show back on track.
Hey, football and food go hand in hand.
Yes, that's one thing I will agree. All right, so let's talk about Rams 49ers players to watch. Of course, we know Matthew Stafford, we know Cooper Kupp, we know Aaron Donald. But besides those, big three, what are some players the 49er bench should watch for and should be worried?
Yeah, so I've talked about this on a couple of different shows, including my own. That the Rams did something the last game they played against the Panthers that I've never seen Sean McVay do before, where we had a total of 8 players get a carry on offense, and I'm curious because that was the first game post the Cam Akers drama and things like that. Like he essentially got benched. And he's not active and he's not playing in this game. And so then Sean McVay was just like, all right, who wants a carry? Let's give you a carry, you a carry, you a carry. Everyone gets a carry. And yeah, so I'm curious to see if we see a similar kind of run scheme from the Rams where we're just handing the ball off on jet sweeps left and right. We'll randomly put Brandon Powell and Cooper Kupp in the backfield and get them a carry. Tutu Atwell got a carry that way. And yeah, I'm really curious to see if that's something that happens. But for one specific player on offense to watch that, if you've been listening to any Rams content creator, they're talking about him. Van Jefferson is back. He got injured in training camp. He had over 800 yards last season. A lot of people forget about him. He is the Rams' deep threat who actually got the first touchdown of the year last year from Matthew Stafford on a big play against the Bears. And he definitely has a role in our offense that's important. And so I'm excited to see how Van has done. Van Jefferson, it's been great to see him as a Rams fan. He's someone who's gotten better each and every year that he's been a professional. And so I'm hoping he comes and he has a great game against the Niners.
Mm-hmm. That's great to hear because Rudy talks about Van Jefferson like he's like someone like so great. I don't know why, but you're talking about him. You guys are getting him back, and if he's your deep threat guy, I understand why in the first game Matthew was not throwing the ball deep. But at the end of the day, every week is different, so we'll see what he's going to be doing. And again, hopefully one of our players, Charvarius Ward, he likes to be called Moody for some reason. So Moody Ward, hopefully he will keep Van Jefferson in check because right now our corners are very, very slim right now. So, but I will keep an eye on Van.
I'm just curious. Sorry, this is off. Is like what position on the Niners isn't banged up and stuff? Like technically, your quarterback is banged up because Trey Lance is out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Running back banged up.
Mm-hmm.
O-line is it? Do you have is that good?
Oh man, let's not even talk about the O-line. So
okay. Like wide receivers, Debo's out.
Yeah.
So okay, in terms of your defensive line injuries.
So Trent Williams came back last week. He did not look good. He did not look. I don't know if he was rushed in, but he did not play well. Mike McGlinchey, I do not want to talk about him. I wish anyone will take him for a bag of chips like my boy Dave. I'm tired of Mike McGlinchey. Our center does not know how to snap the ball and holds the pass rushers. I don't know why he does that. Our rookie and our second-year player are the best offensive line. That's how bad the offensive line is. That's why I don't want to infuriate myself with that. But yeah, like all of our position players have had injuries during the year. They're playing banged up, and that's the reason why the Niners are 3-4. Injuries. I've talked about it. I don't know. I really
Sorry,
don't know.
I know it's a sore spot for you and the faithful, and so I apologize. Your comment just made me think like the Niners literally banged up at every single position.
Yeah. So, did you already do score predictions? No, we're not going to do that right now. We always leave that to the end of the show. But CG has a good comment. Says Danny Gray X Factor could be someone that Rams would be off guard. Gray is known for his speed. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about Danny Gray, but in college he was a returner. So basically, a kickoff returner, punt returner, and wide receiver. So he played different aspects of the game. But one thing about a lot of people that don't know about Danny Gray, he had a 4.3 speed, and he was also a track star in Texas, in one of a small Texas community college before he became a player for SMU. So hopefully we play this kid. Like, he had one opportunity that Jimmy underthrew the pass towards Gray, because Gray, for some reason, and Gray in that play was not really good. All right, Grandizer says,
Man,
the
man.
man. What's up, my boy? Carcass is in
Hey,
the
Carcass.
building. Long time no see. Only 15 years old. Only 15 years old. He's the future of podcasting. Shout out to my boy Carcast. CG says Drake Jackson in the rotational got sacked or two, maybe. Yeah, Drake Jackson, our rookie. He's a really good player. Let's see. All aboard the van. He will open up routes and block well. Nice.
Jefferson Van Plane, yes.
All right. Crazy Juice says, I don't remember the city, but it was for a school trip. All right. We went on a school trip. Carcast says, hello, guys. And how is your day going so far? Nice. Carcast, very, very nice. Always with the positivity. I got to be more like Carcast, because, I don't have any positivity.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Carcass. Great guy.
All right. Grandizer said, yeah, Payo, don't do a Ramelia and push the host. Never too far. All right. Fia Lewis says, our offensive line looks like everybody is all pro when they play the Rams. Yeah, like no matter, I would never understand this. Jake Brunskill is not a good offensive line player, but for whatever the reason, when he plays the Rams, I don't know. Like,
it's the weirdest thing, and even like I'll be honest, like even Jimmy G, some of his best games of his career have been against the Rams, and I think that there's a couple things to it. Number one, I think that Jimmy G, for whatever reason, does a good job of not making the mistakes against the Rams. Hey, finesse for him, good to see you. But yeah, I it's definitely, they've had our number, but I'm saying it is every game's a new adventure, and hopefully the narrative is different this time.
All right, so basically we have a comment that says, how do Niner fans feel about Jimmy G? Are you ever confident walking into a game with them? And I've always said this. I know there are a lot of other content creators who basically love to slander his name. And again, I want people to understand what I'm doing right now is not praising Jimmy Garoppolo. But what I know about Jimmy is that he's a competent quarterback that uses the playmakers. And when he does all of that, he looks good. But as a quarterback who's a franchise quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, no, he's not a franchise quarterback. He's competent enough to be in the NFL. He does make a lot of boneheaded mistakes, especially the one where he threw the interception to the Chiefs. Like, anyway, I'm not going to even anger myself anymore. But the point of the matter is, Jimmy gives you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Basically, that term, good, bad, and ugly, is the best way to describe Jimmy Garoppolo. You have to have the good there. All people that want to talk about is the bad and the ugly. And that's what makes fake 49er fans really piss me off because they don't know what football is. And again, if this offends you, any 49er faithful, this is not the channel for you because I'm tired of apologizing to people because a lot of 49er fans get so easily offended. And I want to put a disclaimer. I apologize for the tone I take, but come on, be a football fan. Don't be like, anyway, because all these Jimmy like hate that he gets, you can criticize him, you can point out his flaws, but don't hate a person because anyone who hates a person, something's wrong with them. And I'm not going to use the proper word, but something's wrong with you if you have hate in your heart. But anyway, let's put that away. We got Cool Whips in the building. Danny Gray or activate Malik Turner off practice squad. Yep. So I know what's his name said. Kyle said yesterday that they may have to activate uh, a receiver from the practice squad. All right. Grandizer has a question. What are one or two key matchups, either player or position, that you both are watching that we should also be watching as fans? Whoa. Would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about talking. What definitely I'm looking for Matt Stafford versus the 49ers defense on third down. The Rams have been actually pretty good on third down this year, but we've been pretty bad on first and second down. And I think that if the team that converts better on third down and has sustained drives, the Niners, their defense, they've kind of been able to kill some drives this year. And then when we saw the Chiefs, convert long third downs on them, that's kind of how they got that, that game to get away from the Niners. So I'm hoping the Rams can keep drives sustained. We don't want any of this 3-and-out, garbage that we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, great answer.
All right.
But yes, I would say so. Definitely Stafford versus the Niners defense as a matchup as a whole, on third down. And then if you want an individual one, I think Brandon Ayuk really needs to step up for the Niners in this game. And I'm going to be guessing we're going to see Jalen Ramsey and Troy Hill on him, kind of trade him off. So that, that's a big matchup to see is, Ayuk's been playing really well for you guys this year.
Yeah. So as I talked about, we have a New York Giants fan, and he's having some fun in the chat. Also, nice to see John Jay got Brian DeBall on the show. I'm shocked because he's a New York Giants fan.
Oh, that's
all right. YTC says Ramsey versus Ayuk and McCaffrey versus the run defense. Okay. CG says Danny Gray, time to shine. And then he says, who would Niners choose for 5 years between Matt Ryan, Jimmy G, or Carson Wentz?
That's a really interesting question for him.
Let's see. Carson Wentz does not get a lot of respect with his mobility. He's able to run around. He's not fast, but he's able to move around in the pocket. Matt Ryan is a pure pocket passing quarterback. His skills have really diminished. He's not the same quarterback he once was. Jimmy Garoppolo is who he is. I would take Carson Wentz because he's able to maneuver in the pocket, escape tackles, and run when he needs to. But out of these three quarterbacks, no disrespect, I would rather still root and support my boy Trey Lance when he comes back.
That's fair.
Yeah. Question: can you ask your guest whose house?
Grandizer, I want to be respectful when I'm on a 49ers channel, but the terminology is Rams house that he's asking me to say. But yes, I'll be respectful.
That's all right. No worries. All right. Another will be the Rams and Niners struggling O-line versus each other's defensive line. Okay. Let's get all these comments out the way. Jawan Jennings is questionable. Yes, I talked about that. All right. Baseball question. All right. And Rudy's in the building. What's up, Rudy? Our boy Rudy's in the building. Finally, let's see what Rudy has to say. Props, John Jay, and Payo time. There's too much red in here. Let's so fly stadium.
So fly stadium.
Shout out to my boy Rudy. All right. Yep. All right. Cool Whip says active. Jason Poole off practice squad. JK plays fullback. Dwelly can't cut it. Okay. All right. Thea Lewis says, yeah, no matter if Jimmy made 100 good throws in the game, one bad throw. Yeah, that's one thing about, and that's why I'm done with the Jimmy argument. And I let those fans go over there. SC Dwally isn't that bad. All right. Okay. Everyone's telling me there's stuff. All right. Rudy says, Rams win tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then Les Snead announced he moves afternoon.
Yeah,
Bradley.
there's a lot of rumors floating around about a Rams trade coming in, and
Yeah.
I think Rudy and I would agree. It looks like it'll come either Monday or Tuesday next week.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Move on with the comments. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Move on. CG says Niners win tomorrow. The what excuse? No. Okay, he said that already. Question. All right. Rudy has a question. Who will have more touchdowns tomorrow? Cup, Robinson, or Jefferson?
You know what? I'm gonna be the one and say I think this might be a 2 touchdown performance for Justin Jefferson out of any of those receivers. I just think that him coming back could be a real difference maker for the Rams, and yeah.
All right. Now comes my favorite segment of the show, by the numbers. But I'm doing something different this year than last year. Last year I just put the numbers of the offense and defense. So we're going to examine pieces of the offense, defense, etc. And we're going to start with Matthew Stafford. Has a 71% completion percentage, which is pretty good. 1,500, almost 1,600 passing yards. 6 touchdowns. But let's talk about the numbers that fans don't see. 8 interceptions, 22 sacks, and 1 lost fumble. So talk about Matthew Stafford. Do you like the numbers? But also talk about why he has more interceptions and why he's being sacked a lot.
For sure. So these numbers definitely don't tell the full story of Matthew Stafford. He's actually, I would say he hasn't played his best football yet this season, but he has not been the main reason that the Rams have, been losing games and why we're 3-3 at right now. Stafford has actually played quite well. Just there's been some situational football circumstances that, clearly those interceptions, especially the pick sixes, are what hurt his stats for the season total. And those 22 sacks, you got. We've had 6 different combinations of starting offensive lines this year in 6 games. So when you have just these rotating offensive line players, your communication is messed up. You have weak points, and Stafford is just, he's been under pressure all season long. So I'm hoping we can get him a clean pocket. And on top of that, the Rams have not really had an effective run game. We've only had 2 games where we got over 100 yards rushing total in the game, and one was against the Cardinals and one was against the Panthers. So we're hoping that we can get an efficient, well-balanced offense against the Niners tomorrow.
I want to shout out a Arizona Cardinals diehard fan. What's up, AZTRL? He is not the biggest fan of the Rams. Let's just say from experience talking to this guy, he would rather root for the 49ers than the Rams. So that really shows you. But shout out to my boy TRL. CG has something funny. This how many interceptions will Stafford throw tomorrow? Wow.
I'm going to predict none.
All right, let's listen to my boy Fialua. I really enjoy Ram Stadium. It was easy to get around. All right.
It's a very well-built stadium.
Yep. All right. Figured out. All right. Rudy says Stafford only throws picks to make it more interesting. Wow, really?
Love Rudy.
Anyway, I don't know why Rudy thinks the way he thinks, but throwing interceptions, Rudy, is not fun. Speaking from experience, interceptions should not be something fun to talk about.
He's just joking. Yeah.
I know. CG says Niners own Stafford. Enough said. Wow, CG. All right. We have a Philadelphia Eagles fan in the building. What's up, Philly Sports Talk Podcast, my boy? Thanks for tuning in. All right. Cool Whip says Niners are 4-7 without Debo. Hopefully that does not mean an indicator that we're going to lose. So, but thank you very much for that. CG says we win if we run the ball 30 plus times. All right. Everyone's saying what's up. Here we go. Well, if we root for the lesser evils, I rather root for okay. Talking about the Washington Commanders. All right, everyone saying what's up, what's up. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, good. We got the comments out the way.
There
All
was
right.
a question there from CG about are the Rams offensive line still a concern? Yes, it is. Mainly because we lost our left tackle Joseph
Mhm.
Noboom. He unfortunately he wasn't playing super well. So we're gonna have Aliric Jackson getting his first official start at the left tackle position,
Mhm.
and so hopefully he does Carcass.
Carcast, good.
um, but also I'm mainly looking for the left tackle, seeing how Jackson does, but then also our two guard spots as well. But thankfully we're getting our starting center back, Brian Allen, who just
Yeah,
for the sole reason of helping with audibles and communication, that will be a huge get back for the
yeah,
Rams.
yeah. Shout out to my boy Ufunga. I'm a huge fan of the Polynesian, especially here in the Bay Area. We have a big Polynesian culture. So, Tongan, Samoan. I went to school. A lot of my Samoan friends played football. They're great people. So yeah. All right, Carcast. All right. Grandizer says, question to both of you. Which three 2022 rookies have impressed you the most, if any, have impressed you? Are you talking about our teams or
Yeah,
rookies?
he's at respective teams. Yeah.
Let's see, rookies. Let's
I
see.
can go first if while you think
Yeah,
of
go
one.
ahead. Go ahead.
So a lot of the Rams rookie class has actually been injured, unfortunately. We do look to get Kyrie Williams back, our rookie running back, and so hopefully he does well. But I'll say this: two of our young secondary players in Jacoby Durant and Darian Kendricks, they've they've been playing good football at even as rookies, and they're definitely a part of this defense. Jacoby Durant was a little injured, but those would be the two major standouts. And where
Mhm,
hopefully this Rams rookie
mhm,
class can get healthy. And some unfortunately, like our first pick in the third round,
mhm.
Logan Bruss, he's out for the year, and so we're hopefully he comes back and
Yeah.
he'll do well next year for us.
And CG beat me to the punch. Spencer Burford and Drake Jackson. All right, Grandizer says, question to both. If you had a magic wand that could make one player on your 2022 IR roster completely healthy for this season, who would it be?
This is a great question because we
These are
both have
great.
banged up teams.
Oh man, I would say this: if I had a magic wand, I would have all the players on my team healthy. I'm done.
Yeah,
You know.
Some find a way to implement that magic wand.
Yeah. All right. Now let's move on to your run game. You talked about it a little bit, but your run game, not doing so well. I don't know if you said about the offensive line, and of course Cooper Cup. One bright spot. Almost 60 catches already, and we're not even halfway through the season. You know, looks like he's gonna have another 1,000 yard season already with 4 touchdowns. So talk about what's wrong with the run game, and is there anyone who can stop Cooper Cup on the Niners? Because he always finds a way to beat us.
Cooper Cup is a really talented player. He's a very intelligent wide receiver. He's a tricky receiver to defend, and on top of that, he's got great hands to go with his superb route running ability. And yeah, the Rams' run game has been lackluster, but as I mentioned previous, I'm optimistic that with the O line that we're getting back healthy this game, plus if Sean McVay keeps doing this, give everyone a carry that he had with the Panthers, I think we can get at least a serviceable run game. That's the goal. But yes, we definitely need to improve our run game and have a more balanced offense, and have Stafford throw the ball a little bit less. But Cooper Cup, yeah, again, he is one of the greatest wide receivers in Rams history. I think he's currently fifth on the all-time receiving chart for the Rams career-wise, and we have some good receivers in our history, like Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Elroy, Henry Elroy, and yeah, there's lots of great players that Cooper Cup is being part of that legacy for sure.
Mhm. All right. The Giants fan says, may the winner of this game of this matchup get closer to taking the NFC West while
Yeah,
taking care of the Seahawks. Yep.
that's the hope. Take care of Seattle.
All right. We got someone new in
Hey,
the chat.
GP Shadow, he's my man. He gave me this as a gift.
Wow.
Yeah, no, GP Shadow is a legend. He helped build SoFi Stadium. Actually, he's an electrician.
Oh, he's an electrician.
Yeah, and he helped build SoFi.
Yeah. So I'm looking at his picture, and the name that you said. Uh, here's something fun. I wasn't able to own like the PlayStations, the Xbox, those game systems when I was a kid. But my friend had a Dreamcast, and the only game he had was Sonic, and I really liked the Shadow character. So
Oh, cool.
a little fun fact. Again, I didn't really own a lot of video games, so but that was probably one of the very few games I've only played like Madden, the 2Ks and the baseball. My friends had all the video games, but Shadow, I like that. That's why. So whoever GP Shadow, I like the graphic. Don't ever take it away. All right. Okay. All right. TRL says every team in the division is banged up. Yeah. Football, no matter what, players are going to get hurt, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carcast has a question. What do you think of starting free safety Taylor Rapp Payo? I feel like he makes some standout plays and then he makes some huge blown coverages that cause fights between wow. He's talking. Wow.
So, Carcats, that's a fair question. So I have to caveat this. Taylor Rapp has some family that is Canadian, and as a Canadian NFL fan, I automatically have to root for him, especially because he's on my favorite team. However, I fully acknowledge a lot of Ram fans get frustrated with Taylor Rapp. I think he's actually having a pretty decent year this year. He is one of the most criticized players on the Rams for sure, though. And so I'm hoping this is a good Taylor Rapp game.
All right. So let's talk about the defense and what they have done this season so far. So, of course, tackles, basically happen on defense. So I don't really have that stat, but 12 sacks in 7 games, 7 games, 19 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions. And you guys have basically forced 8 turnovers so far. Your defense does allow 300 over 300 passing yards. I mean total yards. So talk about your defense. Have you seen some good things, some bad things? Is there anything they need to correct? So talk about your Rams defense.
Yeah, so the Rams defense is definitely a good defense. They've been on the field a lot this year, which that always kind of can hurt your defense. But the term that the Rams fandom uses a lot, and I've heard it in other fandom as well, is they run this bend but don't break defense. They give teams lots of stuff underneath, but they don't give up the big play very often. And the Rams actually have a very good red zone defense. And I'm the part that frustrates me as a Rams fan is we're just not getting that many turnovers. And seeing Nick Scott get one last week against the Panthers was really awesome. But I'm hoping that in this latter part of the season post the bye week, the Rams would be able to get some turnovers and really, because turnovers help your team win. And often if you win the turnover battle, you win the game. Not always, but often. And so I'd love to see the Rams not lose the turnover battle as we've been doing, but actually win it. Yeah, of course, GP Shadow.
Yeah. CG and I are going to disagree on one point. So if Verrett doesn't play, so like I already know Verrett's not going to play because I think he'll debut finally after the bye against the Chargers, his former team. But if Verrett doesn't play, please keep Jimmy Ward away from Nico. I prefer Lenore there. Why not rotate Ward at free safety? Shouldn't play when he struggles. Here's the thing about CG that he does not know. For whatever the reason, we're going to disagree on this topic. I respect CG's point of view. Jimmy Ward was a corner when he got drafted to the 49ers, but he excelled as a safety. But one thing that the way Jimmy Ward plays, a lot of people don't see is that he does play a lot of like the nickel. He always plays up when it comes to certain packages. He's better than Lenore. I don't know what's wrong with Lenore this year. I've watched Lenore. He's pissed me off this year. We're not using Walmack. I would rather have Jimmy Ward, who has way more playing experience, to play in the nickel because for whatever the reason, Lenore, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's making a lot of bad decisions. We are playing him a lot, and I've been told that D'Amico is copying Kyle Shanahan that doghouse. If his players ain't doing what they're supposed to do at practice, they don't play. Play Walmack. But if we have to have Jimmy Ward, I would rather have Jimmy Ward at the corner. Tayshaun Gibson has been doing really well, and Talanoa Ufunga, who we're going to talk about in just a second. But at the end of the day, I will always bump heads with CG when it comes to this thing. And then again, I know Jimmy Ward is not the best player, but I would rather have him out there. So that's my thoughts about about CG's question. All right. YTC says, well said, Payo. We said about the turnover battles. It wins games. It loses double-edged sword. Yep. True, true, true. True, true, true. All right. Now we're going to talk about the 49ers. I want to get your thoughts on this. So Deebo Samuel's not playing. So we have to rely on George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk. So their combined numbers, basically, Cooper Kupp basically has the exact same numbers that these two receivers have combined. Basically, almost 800 yards combined, 4 combined touchdowns. Who are you more worried about, George Kittle or Brandon Ayuk?
Honestly, if you were to ask me this question last year, I would have said Kittle, but this year I'm going to say Ayuk. I think Ayuk has really taken a step forward as a pro. And I just think his route running is a little more crisp this year. I think his hands have, he's securing the ball a lot more, from point of contact of the ball to his hands. I think he's really doing a good job of, bringing it to his body. But yeah, Kittle, he's someone that you have to watch out for as well. He's, at any given time, he can cause a big play. He's tough to tackle. And from the tight end position, Kittle is still top notch tight end. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. But yeah, I'm I know that with Deebo Samuel out, we definitely got to keep an eye on these guys plus CMC. So I'm excited to see them play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing about George Kittle is that George Kittle, his primary game is a blocking tight end, but he can catch the ball and he does basically take a lot of contact, which does worry me. Next year he'll be 30 years old. Like the clock is ticking for a lot of these 49er fans to get to that Super Bowl that they were in 2019. Kittle's getting older. So besides him getting older, his body, will not be able to take the contact he used to take. But he's a good blocking, especially, and you mentioned Christian McCaffrey. Brandon Ayuk has been, having some moments. He's had some good moments, had some bad moments. He's dropped some passes during the season. But if Brandon Ayuk is the number one guy, for me, as you said it, Brandon Ayuk is having a good year. He's currently, because Deebo's not playing, he's the leading receiver on the field on Sunday. But George Kittle, I will always say George Kittle is important, not just by catching, the passes, blocking, opening up lanes. So I will always take George Kittle over Brandon Ayuk. And I like Brandon Ayuk. I like Brandon Ayuk.
Kittle is also kind of an emotional leader for that Niners offense as well, right?
Yeah, he is. Carcast. Shout out to the Canadians and Taylor.
Is Thanks, Carcast. Canada appreciates you.
All right, Vialua says Ward was a
safety
at college. Niners made him a corner when they drafted him. He wasn't a good corner when he played starting corner. When they moved him to safety, he was playing good. Yeah, he played corner in college as well. People forget that. But anyway, all right. Kittle is bigger factor than Ayuk, true. And team linebackers struggle against Kittle, and Jimmy G's first read usually is at that area. Another thing why Jimmy Garoppolo really upsets a lot of fans. Throws the ball inside the hash marks and the numbers. All right, CG wants to say, keys to the 49ers winning tomorrow. Run the ball 30 times. Limit Cooper Kupp. I don't know if that's even possible. Get enough pressure to Stafford to where he struggles. The main goal is to win time of possession. Agreed. All right. Cool. All right, Christian McCaffrey trade, wonderful. I hope my boy Lenore gets better. Yeah, I have not seen anything positive about Lenore. Growing pains. Yeah, what was supposed to be a growing pain year for Trey Lance became a win now situation. Facts. Yep. Tommy
Welcome
Huxley
Canada love.
says.
Hey
Tommy
Tommy.
My boy Tommy says, we are screwed. 27. Oh, wow. He's picking the Rams. Wow. Dang. The
Love
Niners have really demoralized my boy Tommy Huxley.
that.
Phil Lewis says, I think Ayuk will have a monster game. Hopefully, you're right. Question number three keys for Rams winning the game versus the Niners. What are three keys for the 49ers winning the game versus the Rams? All right.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm definitely going to say third down. I think for both teams, whoever wins third down wins this game. Whoever has the most success and can have the sustained drive. But for the Rams, I think it is Stafford taking his check down or throwing the ball away on first and second down, not taking so many sacks. I think that's a big key for victory for the Rams to avoid third and plus 10. And then for the third and final one, I think the Rams will need to find a serviceable run game. When we've been able to do that this year, we've won. And in our losses, we have not been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So serviceable.
Yeah. So everyone's already dropping the score predictions. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks everyone dropping in there.
Yeah, that's really, really great. All right. Now comes the fun part for John Jay, because John Jay has a lot to say about this topic. So we talked about your run game. The Niners have a good run game. We are 155 yards away from reaching 1,000 yards rushing in the season. We have 6 touchdowns. Running the football is what the Niners do best. And Christian McCaffrey, talk about Christian McCaffrey, because you have a lot of experience this season with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
this is
one
your
game with
second time.
one of experience.
So talk about Christian McCaffrey before I give you my thoughts about Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, so Christian McCaffrey was literally the entire offense for the Carolina Panthers when we played them, and he's a dual threat running back. He's an intelligent player. As I said this before, I said it again. As a football fan, I'm glad he's out of Carolina, and now that even though Carolina's competing for their division lead tomorrow, which is crazy, but I digress. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I'm excited that he's on a team with an offensive coach who can utilize his skill set because he is a dynamic player. But unfortunately, it is the Niners as a Rams fan that I'm like, oh man, of course he goes to the Niners. But yeah, I think that he's going to be a factor in tomorrow's game. He's obviously he's a huge part of your offense. Even one game in. He wasn't even with the team a week, and he had kind of a big role with you guys last week against the Chiefs. So I expect to see a healthy dose of CMC.
Yeah. YTC says McCaffrey will record his first touchdown. So one thing about Christian McCaffrey that a lot of people don't know is that he played for Stanford, which is not that far from where I live. Stanford is in Palo Alto, nearby San Jose, which is between Levi's and the city of San Jose. So he has a lot of roots in this part of the Bay Area. And one thing, like 4 days before the trade happened, he told his agent he wants to go back to the Bay Area. Unfortunately, there's only one Bay Area team, the 49ers. So they became the front runners, and it actually happened. Now, Christian McCaffrey was only here for a day and a half. He did a walkthrough on Friday, and he did another walkthrough on Saturday. So he did not practice. He had 62 total yards versus the Chiefs in 22 snaps. So he played a lot. He's had an entire week reading that playbook. What is he going to do? I'm going to call it right now. If he had 62 yards total, this guy will have 100 total yards. Will he have 100 rushing yards? I don't think so, but he'll have a lot of yardage on the ground. He'll probably have some catches because Debo's not going to be playing. McCaffrey, Rams fans need to be worried about McCaffrey. Like I said, he's been with this team now for 8.5 days, and he's been learning the playbook. After the bye week, we're going to see the real McCaffrey against the Chargers. He's going to make this run game so great, and I'm going to make a very outlandish prediction. Christian McCaffrey will make Jimmy Garoppolo play like the 2019 season. Call me crazy. A lot of people are going to start hating me in the chat. But when he had Emmanuel Sanders in 2019, Jimmy Garoppolo played at a very top level. McCaffrey will make Jimmy Garoppolo look way better in the rest of this season. So let me know what the fans think in the comments. I got a bunch of comments, so let's get these out the way. Fun fact: is Payo where to pat you on the back? All right, I need to stop reading these things. All right, that's my fault. Cooper Cup will score 2 touchdowns. CG says Rams need to establish the run. The run, having Stafford beating us won't work. All right, cool. All right, we have a question from, let's see, score prediction for the game. Player of the game for your respectable team. All right, I'll go first with this question. So, if I had to do a prediction, I don't really do predictions. I feel like last year the Rams and the Niners scored, I think, a combination of 51 points. I will say someone will have 30 points in this game. I would like it to be the 49ers, but I think this is going to be a back and forth game. I think points are going to be scored. Of course, I do want the Niners to win. A player that will be someone that no one is talking about. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I think Tayshaun Gibson will step up because last time he played, he should have had an interception. So I'm gonna pick a random player. I never pick the usual suspects. I'm gonna have Tayshaun Gibson as a surprise player.
Okay. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just give my player of the game prediction is Van Jefferson. Like I said before, I think he's due for a big game for his first game of the season because he is healthy. But I also am I'm gonna like you, I want my team to win, and so I am gonna predict the Rams win this game. However, I'm being bold. Make sure your defibrillator is close by, everyone. I'm predicting this game is going to overtime. I'm thinking the Rams are going to pull it out in overtime.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tommy says Payo is relieved that the Lambs don't have to face, and I said the same thing earlier in the show.
and Tommy, all this is I'm genuine when I see this. I see the advantage for the Rams get by Debo not playing, but as a football fan, I always want the best player versus the best player. And so I am genuinely, sad that Debo is out at a human level, but I do see from like the fan perspective of like, okay, that's an advantage to the Rams. Like the 49ers don't get better with Debo not on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And everyone's talking about what McCaffrey's going to do. All right. Tommy says, all right. Fialua says Niners 31, Rams 17. All right. Now we come to this, and I think we're going to disagree on this point, but my defense, early in the year, been playing really well. The last couple of games, the defense hasn't been showing up, but we still have recorded 24 sacks, 40 tackles for loss. We forced 9 turnovers so far this year. We're allowing less than 300 yards, but the last few weeks, those yards have moved up. Nick Bosa, I know you guys have Aaron Donald, but I have 2 questions for you. Can you now say, after watching Nick Bosa, look at his numbers this season: 7 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 19 quarterback hits, and I don't even have his tackles up there. I don't even have his pressure rate. And of Talanoa Hufanga, you remember this guy. This guy, pick 6, your quarterback. Can you say, and again, if you disagree with me, that's okay. Is Nick Bosa way better than Aaron Donald, and is Talanoa Hufanga better than your Jalen Ramsey?
No, I would not say that. No, hesitate. Sorry, no. Aaron Donald is a generational talent player. I know that the Niners have had some success against him, but I'll say this: Aaron Donald, even if you have him have a quiet game on the stat sheet, he's still impacting the game almost each and every. Oh, thanks, Tommy. And yeah, no, Aaron Donald is a beast. Arguably the greatest defensive tackle of all time. And he's only 31 years old, and he's still got some room to add to his resume. But he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And again, Nick Bosa is a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I'll never say that I don't think there's very few people I could ever say like, oh, they're better than Aaron Donald.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if Aaron Donald ever won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know. Okay. Nick Bosa won the Defensive Rookie of the Season. His second season, he basically tore his ACL, came back from an ACL injury, had 15 and a half sacks, had the highest pressure rate in the NFC, had one of the top 3 pressure rates in the NFL, coming back from an ACL injury. He's doing it by himself, continuing to be held. And no disrespect, again, Aaron Donald is a great, great athlete. He's really good. He's a rare talent. He's a Hall of Famer. But what Nick Bosa does not really get credit, and again, there's a lot of reasons why people don't like Nick Bosa. One of the factors is, of course, he plays for the Niners. And, we get a lot of bias when it comes to our team. But there's other factors why people don't like Nick Bosa. But I would say Nick Bosa is the best defensive player in the NFL. And again, you can disagree with me. This is a good thing about different conversations.
Yeah,
but one thing I will never have anyone slandered is Talanoa Hufanga. This is his first season. He already has 3 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, 1 return touchdown against your quarterback, and 1 sack. This guy has forced an interception last week against Patrick Mahomes. This guy needs to get more credit. And again, I'm not calling him Troy Polamalu yet. But again, John Jay has a soft spot. I said this earlier, to the Polynesians, the Tongans, Samoans, and all the Pacific Island, nations. Great people. I played sports with them. I live with them. They're good people. They're so humble, but their work ethic is so I have never seen anyone's work ethic. Even the common, people, they work their butts off. They're very humble. And that's why I will always have a soft spot for Talanoa Hufanga. So call me a homer, but shout out to my boy Talanoa Hufanga.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right. Carcast says, people got to remember, Cooper Kupp can freaking block. He is one of the most selfless players in the NFL. I did not know that because every time I see him, he's always catching the football. So they don't ever show.
Yeah. No, he's big in the run game too. He's super strong. Yeah.
What the heck? After this week, it's pie time. What's with this pie time?
So me and CG have a bet that if the Rams win, CG has to pie himself on the NFC West Network. Or if the 49ers do, then I have to pie myself. So I see what you did there, CG, and I'm hoping that you like some pie.
Now, wow. All right, forget the pie. All right, Tommy says AD definitely first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he is. Wow, let's not take that off the screen. I forget sometimes Tommy speaks his mind. All right, Via Lua says for the Rams to win, Stafford has to stop throwing pick six. Wow.
Well, the same could be said about any quarterback, but true, yes.
All right. CG says Nick Bosa makes a difference. Without him, our defense loses to. Our defense lost to Atlanta. Okay. All right, Tommy with the $2 donation. Appreciate Tommy. He says, you have a soft spot for Huff equals UC. Okay. No. I am not a UCLA. I do not support any Southern California team. I'm from the Bay Area. Okay. But anyway. All right. YTC says, I don't blame you, John. I have very soft spot for Victor Cruz since he's Spanish and has 20 minutes away. Oh, wow.
Oh,
nice. Cool. So the Giants fan lives nearby a celebrity. All right. Should be funny, Kenny. All right. So everyone has been talking about their keys to victory. So we already talked about this. So we do not have to do this segment, but now the fans are going to be dropping in their score predictions. So while the fans are dropping in their score predictions, I've seen some score predictions. So I'm going to go find the score predictions.
We've got a bunch in the chat already. That's great.
So And if you guys want to drop more score predictions, go right ahead. And all I'm going to just ask you, do you agree, disagree? All right, let's get all these score predictions. All right. So Tommy was the first person. He says, we're screwed 27-21. Do you like the score prediction?
Of course. I love it when the Rams win.
All right. Fialua 60, also known as Soli 684, says no Niners 31-17. What do you think about this score?
I don't like that score prediction, but I don't get the vibe that this game is going to be a blowout game for either team. I do believe this game is going to be down to the wire. It's the last time these teams will meet in the regular season this year. I think they're both, kind of mid-season. They've kind of come into their own. I think it's going to be a closer game, like what Crazy Juice here is predicting.
Yes, the Crazy Juice has the 49ers winning. All right. We got another score prediction of 17-23 Rams. Again, I don't want the Rams to win, but this is still a possible score.
Saying GP Shadow's a smart dude. Dude.
Let's see. Let's look at all the other score predictions. Hopefully, we got some more score predictions. All right. Grandizer says the spread Niners favored by 1 over under 42. My prediction 49ers 24, Rams 26. So that is 50 points. So it's the over.
Rams win.
All right. All right. All right. Oh, wow. He says whiners. Let's take that off the screen. All right. And let me read this comment. Grandizer says, I agree, Jay. Off topic, but when Tua Tagovailoa showed up in 2021 camp with more muscles and in shape, Coach Brian Flores didn't get that Islander mentality out of him. Again, I've said this about Tua. No disrespect to Tua. He's a system quarterback at best. He's never going to be Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, those guys. He's a good quarterback. But he has a good, great coach in Mike McDaniels who will use the strengths of Tua to make him look better than he does. Just like Kyle does the best that, I don't know why I even give Kyle credit, but what he does to make Jimmy look, competent enough, So there are quarterbacks like that when they have the right coaches, but that's about it. All right. All right. YTC has the Niners 27-23. All right. He agrees with Payo time. All right. Last week, Bosa didn't have good game. I feel sorry for the Rams because he's going to take his damn. Do you agree that Bosa's going to have 4 sacks?
I don't think he will. And I think that I just think that the Rams will be able to we have some health coming back on this O-line, and I do think that if we can get a serviceable running game, we'll take some pressure off of Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. Despite the outcome, Payo is one of the nicest Rams content creator by far. Respect. And as I said this before, Payo time, I wish I can, be at the level that you are. You're a really good content creator. But like I said, hey, and one thing I will always say, and many people disagree with me in the chat, we have a big community with the 49ers. Like, people don't know who I am. I have great loyal fans who watch my stuff. I'm never hoping to be like very famous. I just love doing what I love to do. So I'm very humble. But shout out to Payo, our mutual friend, CG, our mutual friend, Jay in the Bay, and all those other great people we all know. And even that NFC roundtable, those guys are really good content creators. So, absolutely. Yeah. And one thing I want to shout out to our one of our good friends. He's a Seahawks fan, Squabo. He recently graduated and he's living his dream, so great respect for all those great people. I think Squabo is way famous than I am. So I want to always to say that. All right. CG, exactly 100. Brian Flores had 2 tests for PEDs. All right. I don't know. Okay, all right. Bryant, my boy Brian says 31-17 Niners. Brian is very optimist all
Brian,
the time.
I love your profile logo, but I do not love your score prediction.
Yes. Brian is a big optimist when it comes to his team. Big optimist, but he's a good dude.
It's more fun being optimistic about your team than pessimistic.
And see, Bosa 3 sacks. Wow, damn. So looks like Bosa's going to be eating tonight. All right, a lot of quarterbacks are system quarterbacks. No one should expect Tua to be a generation quarterback. Heck, has Tua not getting injured at Alabama. All right, great stuff, great information.
Grandizer is a very passionate Dolphins fan. Yeah.
Oh, he's a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, he's a Dolphins fan, but he supports all NFL content creators.
Mm.
If he's in your stream, you're having a good stream.
And see, I know another Dolphins fan. His name is Jersey Dolphin. He's not a content creator, but one thing that he says to me all the time is that he was happy that they got in our former coordinator because Tua has been playing way better under Mike McDaniel. So,
yeah.
So that's something I will say about that. All right. Well, I've lost track of time. We've been on for almost 90 minutes, man. Every time we do a show together and all the comments, I always get lost track of time. But Payo, it's always great to have you on all the time. But
Always
before we go, just let the fans know one last time. Payo time, your channel. Talk about yourself, promote yourself, let people know what you do. Thanks very much, Payo, for hopping on today.
Oh, and well, thank you, John Jay, for having me. And for the 49ers Ultimate Report community, thanks so much for watching and listening. Make sure to smack that like button and subscribe to John Jay. My channel, we talk about the Rams, we talk about other footballs, but I always host a watch party for each and every Rams game. Then I have a show called Rams Wednesdays, where we talk about the Rams on Wednesday. And then I try to upload different vlogs and other videos depending on what happens. I'm a Rams fan from Canada trying to have as much fun on the internet as possible. So if you want to join me in that, feel free to subscribe.
Yeah. And thank you very much, Payo, for being on. Again, I always say this, may the best team win. And if your team wins, your team deserves it. Of course, you want the Rams to win. I want the Niners to win. But at the end of the day, we're all football fans, and we all just love doing these great shows. But with that said, I'm John Jay of the 49ers Ultimate Report. This is Payo time, one of the best Rams fans and best content creators ever. So we always must show respect to you. Check him out on his YouTube channel, Payo Time. Check him out also, as he says, on the NFL, the NFC West Roundtable with CG and other people on. But with that said, I'm John Jay. This is the 49ers Ultimate Report. You have a good rest of your day, and go Niners.